Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. We've all come across these stunning images on Instagram of glowing geometric forms in the middle of nowhere. So I'm gonna show you how to do it so you can add this tool to your editing techniques in Photoshop. So let's jump in and I'll show you right away. Okay guys, once in Photoshop you load up your images. Be sure to use images that tend towards the dark tones, otherwise your glowing objects will not stand out as much. In this case, I have this landscape shot in an afternoon in Mazunte and a portrait of myself in the middle of the forest. Yeah, when I look at this landscape, I imagine a glowing archway over this little windy road. So that's exactly what we're going to do. First step is to make a new layer. We're going to name this one our main glow. In order to get the decent and not flat looking color, we need to make several layers of glow. So we're going to grab our pen tool and draw out our polygon. Whatever form you need or desire. In this case, it's just going to be a simple archway. Okay, let me just adjust this last point. Yep, happy with that. Then you're going to right click and stroke path. The tool is going to be brush, you push OK, and then you delete the path. So there we have a little light archway. Now we're going to duplicate this layer and we're going to name the duplicate inner glow. The inner glow is the one that's going to have the whitest and straightforward line and light, I'm sorry. Okay, so the next step is right click our main glow, go to blending options and check mark outer glow. Be sure to use the blending mode as green, opacity to 90, the color to red and the contour to point. Okay, hit OK. And as you can see now it has a little glow in it, but it's still not enough. So we're gonna go up to filter, to blur, to Gaussian blur, and we're gonna set the radius up to 5. Hit enter again, and now you can see it has a little glow to it. Now we're gonna duplicate this layer once again, but this time it's gonna be our outer glow. Our outer glow, we're gonna set the filter again, go to blur, Gaussian blur, but this time we're going to set the radius to 20. Yep, as you can see it's looking quite like a neon light. Okay, the next step is to put the ambient light. So in this case I'm going to make a new layer and with our brush tool set to red, give it a big radius. In this case I'm going to go to a bit too big. How about to 200? Yep. Okay. So it's going to be the light from the poles hitting the ground. So with Control T, transform or Command T, you can adjust the perspective of this little dot that you made. I'm happy with that. Click Enter. And with the Alt key, you can copy it. Oh, not this time. Okay, Alt. Yeah, now you can copy it. Okay, it's a bit too strong, but for that first you gotta combine these two layers. And then we're gonna go up to blur once again, Gaussian blur at 20, and there we have it. Now it's a lot more diffused. We're gonna get the opacity down, how about to 70? It's a little too strong. Yeah, like that. Okay, now we're missing the ambience light on the surroundings. So for that we're gonna create a gradient map. Oh, all red. Double click on the gradient and set this point location to 50 and the color to red. Yeah. Then this other point, we're going to go up to color and we're going to type in this number. Hit OK. Okay, now we be sure to put the gradient map below everything. So we're going to go up to Image, Adjustments, and we're going to go to Invert. Okay, now with your brush tool set to white, you can color whatever you want to be red from the gradient. With the black, color, you will erase whatever you've done. So we're gonna set the radius to 50 of the brush and start coloring away. Yeah, be sure to use white. Okay, I'm pretty much happy with that. Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna go up to blur once again, Gaussian blur. This time the radius is gonna be set to 100. So now it's a lot more diffused. Okay, looks pretty good. Another step to make it more realistic is to add a brightness and contrast mask. So we hit this little button here, and the brightness to 150, contrast to 70. Okay, it's a bit too much, so I'm gonna turn the opacity a bit down. How about 70? No, maybe 50. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to change the color if you wish. So you select all your glows, make them into a group, and then you're gonna add a hue and saturation mask. Okay, with the hue you can play around with the colors. Be sure to set that little button there that only affects the object below. Okay, so how about like that orange? Yeah, I like it like that. But then you have to change the gradient as well. So right click the gradient, not the mask, the gradient, double click, and in that middle point you're gonna choose your orange color. That's more like it. Hit OK, and there you have it. That's how you change color, and I'm happy with this archway, happy with this image. Yeah. So let's go to our second example, in the portrait of myself. So I'm gonna set this to white once again, create a new layer, same steps. This is gonna be our main glow. And in this case, I'm gonna do a polygon around my head. Okay, so with your pen tool, you start to draw out what's gonna be your polygon. Okay. The stroke path is determined by your brush tool. So we're gonna set the brush tool to 10, the radius. Okay, now you go to stroke path. Okay. Now you can delete the path. And there you have what's going to start out to be your neon polygon. I'm gonna duplicate the main glow once again to our inner glow. Remember, our inner glow is the one that we don't put any Gaussian blur on it. So we go back to our main glow, and this one, go to blending options. Again, go down, check mark outer glow. Use the same values as in the last example. Hit OK. Okay, now it's looking pretty neat. Go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, radius to 5, remember? Okay, now we're gonna duplicate this layer for our outer glow. Yep. To filter, once again, Gaussian blur. Remember, this time it's gonna be wider, so it's gonna be 20. Yeah, okay. Pretty much looking cool, like a neon sign. Okay, next up, the ambience. Gradient map. Double click on the gradient. With this spot, set the location to 50 and the color to red. Hit OK. And the last spot down here, remember to type in this number, magical number. Okay, hit OK. Remember to invert this mask. We're gonna go up to image, adjustments, and to invert. Okay. Now with your brush tool, I'm sorry, you can draw out whatever you want to be illuminated by the neon. Yeah. So around my eyes, yeah. Obviously that's gonna be illuminated a bit of my ear. So now we're gonna go to blur, Gaussian blur, and set the radius to a 100. And now it's pretty cool actually. Okay, the gradient map always goes below all the neon lights. I'm gonna set the opacity down a bit. How about to 70? Yeah. Next step, create a brightness and contrast mask. Set the brightness to 150 and the contrast to 70. Ooh. Okay, set the opacity down a bit. How about 50? Yeah. And you can invert this one as well. But in this case, I'm not going to do it. So just make a group. Once again, I'm going to change the color up. Yeah. Hue and saturation mask. And in the hue, you can change the color of your neon. Oh, remember to check mark this little button. Okay. And now I'm going to change the color of the gradient. Double click on the gradient. Double click on the color. And choose the color that coincides with the neon side. So look at this. It looks pretty neat. I'm pretty happy with the results actually. It looks pretty good. It's pretty interesting, give an extra touch to your portraits and landscapes. So guys, the final step is to gather 5 friends and start doing the 5 movements that OA teaches us to open the port. I'm just kidding guys. If you make any photos and upload them, be sure to tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see your work. Got some knowledge out of this? Just leave a thumbs up please and subscribe if you want to. See you in the next one. Cheers.